Okay, guys, so this is my attempt at Lostview for 604, episode 4 of season 6. I don't think I'm going to do one for episode 3 because, to tell you the truth, I have nothing to say about that episode. I don't know. I think a lot of people were a little underwhelmed by it. The only thing that really puzzles me about that third episode, what Kate does, is why they didn't just go ahead and let Claire have her baby. I mean, the fact that she didn't have it, I think, is deliberate. They must be postponing Aaron's birth because the timing of that is important for some reason. Otherwise, I don't see why they would waste a whole episode on that, you know. But I guess the other thing, what was the other thing about that? The other thing was that if you listen close, Aaron's heartbeat, it stops when she says she's not ready to have him. So it kind of suggests that maybe Aaron already is in some form, like, conscious in some way. And maybe that plays into something about the pregnancy issue later. I don't know. Probably not. But one of the things that's been bugging me a lot is when Ilana says that the Smokey is stuck in the form of John Locke. It's like, well, why is that? First of all, why is he stuck like that? Second of all, how would she know that? I don't have a clue. But actually, I do have a clue. I think I have a theory on that. I think it has something to do with them burying him. Like, she didn't actually say he was stuck in the form of John Locke until, well, she actually said that before they buried him. So, according to her, that would mean that he was already stuck like that before they buried him. But I think what she meant was that now that we're burying John Locke's body, he is going to be stuck as John Locke. And I think that's probably part of the reason why the burial thing has been such a huge issue, because we've seen that before, like, bodies get buried, and, you know, Nikki and Paolo, and just, they always make a big deal out of the burials. And sometimes even a big deal out of what happened, like, not burying people. You know, like, I mean, Amy in season 5, like, oh, who's Amy? That's right. Oh, no, but she got really upset when when the others wanted to take Paul's body back with them. Like, why would she get so upset about that? He's dead. I mean, I guess that would be a big deal if you love someone. You don't just want to give their body over to somebody that you don't trust. But she had to be scared that they were going to do something with that body, like maybe, you know, use it for the next Jacob or whatever. I don't know. But the thing is, I think what happens is when bodies get buried, they become immune to being claimed or otherwise by either Jacob or the Man in Black, and I think that's what's going on here. Because Locke got claimed because he wasn't buried, but then they buried him, and then they buried the body after he was claimed. I don't know what to say about the kid in the woods. I don't know who the hell that is. I mean, my first thought when I saw him was that it was young Locke. And they say, well, young Locke isn't blonde, but I could have sworn he was. I can just picture him now, like in the locker room, saying, don't tell me what I can't do or whatever. I don't know. I mean, probably if I look back at the episode now, somebody would have noticed that it was the same actor, though, right? And obviously it wasn't, or else somebody would have noticed that by now. But a lot of people are saying it's either young Jacob or Aaron. Seems to be the two top choices there. I'm kind of on board with young Jacob. I mean, Flock was obviously scared of him when he looked at him, so I don't know. Like, dude, I killed you. How come you're still alive? Would you come back in time or something? Maybe when you kill somebody, you just reverse their age by 40 years. I thought it was kind of funny how they kind of put Jack's attitude into Locke and Locke's attitude into Jack. We've seen that before, that dynamic between characters where they kind of switch places. Like Sawyer and Jack seem to be switching places at the end of season 4, when you had Jack saying, son of a bitch, and you had Sawyer saying, you ain't dying alone. You know, and now we got Jack and Locke switching places. It's like transference. But it's the Jack Sawyer-Locke triangle. They're all exchanging personalities. I can't figure out what's going on here. Because Locke in this episode is saying all the Jack stuff like there's no miracles. He's saying the island doesn't need protecting. It's just an island. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Now you're talking, you know. Of course, it wasn't really Locke saying that. It was Smokey. So maybe Smokey is more like Jack than Locke is. But no, because that was Locke, like in the alternate timeline, saying there were no miracles. Obviously, he had led a much different life. You saw a picture of him and Anthony Cooper in in his cubicle. You know, so in this timeline, apparently he and his dad get along, which means his dad is probably not the reason that he's paralyzed, which makes you wonder what is the reason that he's paralyzed. Did I say this before? Jay and Jack had the theory that Locke got in a wreck with Shannon's dad. And so that would be possible again now, because then Jack would fix Locke instead of Sarah, who was originally in that wreck. Well, maybe one of the rules that the island has is that this flock, MIB, whatever you want to call it, can't leave the island until everyone is dead, and that's why he's trying to kill everybody. So, and one of the things that's been bugging me is back in The Little Prince, episode 4 from season 5, remember when they were time jumping around and they were in the boat, and there were some people in another boat behind him coming up trying to shoot him? We still don't know who those people were and why they were trying to kill him. Maybe now we know this is, this is Flock's team. He's got Sawyer. Sawyer is one of the people back in the boat trying to kill him. They're just trying to kill everybody. I do believe there is another smoke monster. I believe there is a white smoke monster. I mean, they seem to make a big deal out of the fact that this is black smoke. They always say it's black smoke. It's like, well, smoke is usually black anyway, isn't it? Why do you have to call it black smoke? They always make a reference to that. He turned into a pillar of black smoke. It's like, well, most smoke, I mean, some smoke is white too, but they distinctly point out that the smoke is black, as if we couldn't tell that or something. That's why I wonder if there is a white smoke monster, and maybe that's what Locke saw in season 1, episode 4, Walkabout. This is the weird thing, though. Flock said that Jacob wrote all these numbers, right? This is, I think it's safe to assume this is Jacob's list we're looking at here. And Tom said in season 3, the first time they ever mentioned Jacob, so I would think that would be important, that Jack wasn't on Jacob's list. Yet we see a shepherd on this list. So, what's that all about? Could it be Christian Shepherd? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the secret to getting back to the island, is you have to bring a dead body with you. On the plane. And that's why 316, well, no. The thing is, they went into all this mumbo-jumbo about how, well, there's certain times that the island is in certain places, and certain flight paths just happen to cross that, whatever. So, but, I don't know. Are there any other planes that have ever crashed on the island that didn't have a dead body? I mean, what about the Beechwood aircraft? Was one of those guys dead? Because they had both been shot, or somebody had been shot that was on that plane. So maybe he died on the way there. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say, but we got an episode coming up tonight. It's a Jack back, or a Flash Jack. I think Flash Jack is funnier than Jack back. But, those terms wouldn't be so funny if Jack episodes didn't suck so much, which they often do. Stranger in a Strange Land, boy. It's Something Nice Back Home, that's another one. Even A Tale of Two Cities, like that entire flashback was totally pointless. He's stalking Sarah around. Yeah, see, that's why I think in this alternate timeline he never met Sarah, because she messed up his life. I mean, if you can't perform a miracle on a girl to make her love you, what the hell can you do? So, like I said, we're going to have a Jack back tonight. I don't know what. I'm really hoping that Jack gets to fix Locke in this timeline, because I really wanted to see that. I'm pretty sure, they wouldn't go to all this trouble to bait us with this possibility of Jack fixing Locke just for it not to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. It has to. At least I should hope, anyway. But it seems like this timeline is like the perfect happy ending for all our Lostaways that we've been waiting to see for so long now. It's just, how do we go about making this timeline the real one? But at the same time, because, you know how much it must take to make people actually want to believe that. After 5 seasons, you think they'd be so, hung up on being purists about it and saying, well, this is what we saw, so this is the reality that they should have lived, and that's how it should, even if it sucked for them, it's still the more real one to us, because that's what we've seen for the last 5 years. So it's hard to believe that people can watch this season 6 alternate timeline and actually want it to be the real one more than the one we've been seeing for 5 years. It's hard to believe that. I find it hard to believe myself, but I don't know if they're just doing that good of a job with it, or if it's, I admit I am a happy ending kind of person myself, but still, wow. Oh, by the way, I'll share with you a future episode title that I saw that I absolutely love. I'm not going to say it, I'll just write it down here, because it's really funny. It's basically a spin-off of one of the previous titles. Here it is. Yeah, I can't wait to see that one. That's like one of the last 4, I think. So it's pretty amazing, but yeah, I was pretty stoked about that. So, and that's not like a huge spoiler or anything. It doesn't really tell you anything about the episode except for who's in it, like who's centric it is. So don't hesitate to rewind it and look at that title, because that gets me pretty stoked. Yeah, so I gotta turn this off. This video's gotta be up to 20 minutes by now. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care, y'all.